Peace family, Vie Darling, Cosmic Queen and Dear Intergalactic Interpreter, 444 on the clock. I have a download that I want to share with all of you. If you have been operating from a false matrix, that is to say a false reality, and you are trying to use the law of assumption, the law of attraction, all of these different kinds of laws, that's the reason why it's not working for you. That's the reason why no matter what you do, as often as you do it, as hard as you've been working, those illusions are the reason why it's not happening as powerfully or as potently as you have been wanting it to happen. In order to create a new narrative that is thorough, deep, long-lasting, solid, it must be built on solid ground. The only ground that is solid to build upon is integrity. It is the truth. You cannot build a solid structure on faulty ground, on faulty land. Top to bottom, it's going to be fraught. Eventually, it's going to collapse, without a doubt. So stop building right now and do this instead. In order to break out of that false matrix, that cursed matrix, you actually must speak the truth. You must acknowledge exactly what it is, let it know, I see you, and that disempowers it and brings you back into sovereignty. That means that, say you had a narcissistic parent or an abusive childhood. If you are still lying to yourself that it was anything other than that, that is the reason why your manifestations are not solid. If you have not done the decolonization work that you need to do in order to be self-sovereign, that's another hindrance, because that false matrix inherently disempowers you and is built on lies. So nothing can be solid, nothing can be deeply rooted, built on lies. I know that a lot of people will say, don't speak that over yourself. Don't say that. You don't know the power of words. Actually, I do know the power of words. In order to be self-sovereign and be the master of your domain, your field, your matrix, you have to acknowledge the reality as it is in order to rewrite a new code, a new narrative. Happy hunting! Take two. I don't know why I tried to rush that so much, because I can just make a part two. Anyway, so I'm going to give the example of, I grew up in an extremely narcissistic family of origin. And, you know, my primary caregivers were liars. They lied about absolutely everything, and we were expected to lie to people outside of the family, outside of the household, in order to maintain appearances. And that is not uncommon. That's how most abusive households are. My brain shut down a lot of the things that were happening, so I lost a lot of the memories that I had, and also my brain taught itself, or basically to warp those memories that I did maintain to make them less bad than what they actually were. But one thing I will say for me is that people kept trying to get me to not tell the truth, to not believe that what was happening was what was happening. And they could not stop me. I did not give a fuck. I tell the truth. I don't care. You can do whatever you want to me, but just like they say in V for Vendetta, your integrity is that very last inch of you. You know what I mean? And without that, you really have nothing. And I think that that is actually like a perfect example of what I'm talking about. If you were trying to use the law of attraction, the law of assumption, you're trying to use your words to create a certain type of reality. You're trying to control your thoughts. If your subconscious mind is 95% of your brain power, and your subconscious mind knows the truth that your conscious mind is ignoring, what you're going to continue reproducing is your subconscious mind, which is those memories. Okay, so this is why I would call it like a cursed matrix, a false matrix, and that's our personal matrix. It's really not about controlling anybody else's personal matrix. It's not about controlling what anybody else thinks, feels, says, or does. It's about us. So if we're not operating from a space of integrity, if we are especially willfully delusional, we're not going to be able to build solidly, and what we do build, we will not be able to enjoy. Period. Because you can't really, on a true deep soul level, you cannot enjoy living a lie. It is destructive to your emotional body, your mental body, your spiritual body, and ultimately it's also destructive to your physical body. I'll say for me, I know that I've been able to manifest more solid, tangible manifestations than the people around me who continued to lie. I'm just going to wrap up what I was saying. Hopefully this will be the last one, because it is difficult to put into 3 minutes. But essentially, lies and illusions, delusions are glamours. And glamours are spells, especially if you are telling a lie. That is a glamour spell that you are trying to put onto somebody for them to believe something that's not true. And if it is meant to cause harm, to extract power, to exploit, that's a curse. In terms of breaking those curses, the way to protect yourself is to be radically in your integrity. That means that nobody is going to come in and get you to believe something that is not true, that's not real. You know what I mean? You are remaining sovereign in your matrix. This is why I say don't worry about getting anybody else to believe what you believe. Don't worry about anybody else's matrix, because you can only be sovereign over your own. Everybody else trying to be sovereign over anybody else's matrix is going to cause you and them a lot of pain and incur a lot of not so great karma upon yourself. Now, the next thing that I want to speak to is the simplicity of curse breaking. So that's how you protect yourself, but how you break a curse is if you feel the truth, which you will feel. If you feel the truth, knowing that your voice is your power, that is part of what you manifest from. Speak the truth. Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to anybody else. Okay, if already the matrix, the false matrix has been crafted of illusion, of lies that are not based in integrity, tell the truth. So if it's like, oh, I've been lying this whole time to protect these people, and it's not like, it doesn't have to be like I told lies to protect these people. It can also be like, oh, I'm living a lie, where we all operate from this agreement that we're going to say that everything was fine when it wasn't, and we're all going to act like it was. Take your power back. It can't work if you are not giving it the power over you. It's like, okay, all of these things that we agreed upon, none of that's true, and I'm not going to continue to act like it is. 333 on the clock. For me, I stopped pretending that everything was okay in my family of origin, and I stopped pretending that I didn't experience heinous forms of abuse and marginalization, bullying throughout my childhood. I am breaking that social contract where we all agree upon living a lie, and I'm being honest about it. And that is me taking back my power. I am no longer being ruled by my fear of what could happen if I do that. I'm no longer being ruled by my fear of what's going to happen if things are exposed. I'm no longer being ruled by my fear of having to interact with these people and having to lie. now I can just live however the fuck I want to live. And that's a solid foundation to build upon, because fear is a corrosive thread that will disintegrate absolutely anything that you try to build if it is a part of your foundation. One, how to protect yourself is not allowing anybody to gaslight you. Don't allow anybody, any person, place, thing, system, institution to gaslight you. If you know what the truth is, live in that truth. Two, how you break a curse that's already been set, speak the truth. Your voice is your power. Live in your truth. Experience your truth. Express it through yourself, through your sacral, through your throat. And whatever manipulative power it had over you in your various different chakras, the way that it weaved itself through the fabric of your matrix is going to fall apart, fall away. That is key. And that is the only way that you are going to be able to build and create solid new narratives. That is to say, timelines. Because otherwise, as long as you are still laboring under these delusions, which are low vibrational, you will only be able to get so far. You will always be tethered to them, and they will always be taking up your power in order to continue their existence. So they're also draining you. I hope that that was helpful. I hope that that was clear and that that made sense. And happy hunting.